Alright, so after unlocking the SKS and putting in hours and hours of playtime over the last 2 days, I have gotten the SKS Golden. I didn't think it was right for me to review this weapon without giving it a proper go around, so I got around 800 kills with it, got it gold, and now I think I can give you guys a good review of this weapon. I spent my whole Saturday doing this. I might need to get my priorities checked. Maybe. Should be pretty simple because it is a semi-automatic DMR without too many complicated attachments, so let's get into this. But because everybody tells me I complain too much, I decided I'm going to start this video out with complaining. Let's go over the things I don't like about the SKS first. The big thing I don't like about the SKS is it's not one of those weapons that's really fun to customize. There's not a lot of interesting options when it comes to customizing this weapon. I really like weapons that allow you to play with them in many different ways, and the SKS really has two options. You can slow it down or speed it up. I had trouble coming up with any recommended classes for this video because there's not much you can do wrong with it. This weapon naked is a very capable weapon. Honestly, you could do well with this weapon with the focus perk and a red dot sight and no other attachments, and you would have a very, very solid DMR. But recommending tac laser and reflex sight on your long range SKS? Yeah, ace. That one didn't get by me. Don't use tac laser for long range, you're gonna give away your position, it's gonna lose all of its fucking usefulness. Use the stock that increases aiming stability and a Ranger foregrip for recoil control and more aiming stability and a hybrid optic. Don't, you crazy Canadian. So unlike other weapons in this game, you can't drastically change up your playstyle and feel of the weapon. You can either lighten it up or slow it down. Slow it down, it's more accurate. You lighten it up, it's better in close quarters. But that's my next big con with this weapon. The SKS fires too slowly to be reliable in close range. Your margin for error is razor thin in close quarters. When fighting people that are using automatic weapons, you're likely not going to win with the SKS. And the hip fire?
Enemy in the shipping area. Less than a minute.
Yeah, pretty much fucking abysmal. Yeah, the only attachment it allows you to use to help your hip fire is the Merc foregrip. So your close range engagements are gonna feel very, very don't do them. Also, for you hardcore players out there, it's not exactly worth using in hardcore. And the reason I say that, if you're really trying to beat an enemy team and you're not worrying about camos, because I did play a good amount of hardcore with this weapon to unlock early attachments, just hear me out, it's way better in core mode. What the weapon is capable of is absolutely irrelevant in hardcore and incredibly worth your time in core. In hardcore, you want to get something as light as possible that can still one-tap in order to be optimal. So something like a short-barreled AK-47 or SCAR, a Desert Eagle for instance, that's what you want. The SKS is sort of a slow rifle, and even when you speed it up, there are weapons that shoot much faster that can one-tap. Like the SCAR gets one-shot kills very, very easily in hardcore and is fully automatic to boot. And if you want to use a semi-auto weapon in hardcore, just use the FAL. The FAL is amazing in hardcore, and it will outgun you constantly if you are using the SKS. Now let's talk about what the weapon's amazing at, and that is core mode. That is killing people in core mode before they can react. This weapon rewards a readied player. You're not going to win a lot of head-on-head, snappy gunfights with this weapon. Your rate of fire is too slow, and your visual shake is just too high. Don't expect to jump around cover, ADS, and pop somebody and kill them and keep going. No, it's really not the way it's meant to be used. You can speed this thing up all day, its rate of fire is lock solid. You are not going to be able to speed up the SKS enough so that you can actually put out a volley of fire up close that enemies have to be scared of. All they need to do is outgun you, and many other weapons that are really prevalent in the meta right now will do that. P90s, MP7s, MP5s, M4s, Kilos, M13s, Rams, Graus, they all can outgun you, and they all can out-hip fire you as well. If the SKS at least had good hip fire, so not really requiring you to aim down sight, then it might be a little bit better. You could just, barrel stuff people with it, but I can't rely on the hip fire, I can't tell you to rely on the hip fire, so don't rely on the hip fire. The SKS can be best described as a better EBR that's more restricted to mid-range. You can still very easily kill people at longer ranges with this gun, and by longer ranges I mean across the longest lines of sight on Graus in the Raid or Arklov Peak. You can definitely fight at those ranges, but once you get to those distant engagements where all you can see is somebody's sniper glint, that's where the EBR 14 really shines. In my opinion, that's where you want it due to its nearly infinite or seemingly infinite one-shot headshot range, it's just the right tool for that job. But if you are on most of the 6v6 and even 10v10 maps, you're gonna want the SKS. Over the EBR, 100% it's been completely replaced, and this is actually a problem I have with Infinity Ward that I'll talk about later in this video. The SKS is a workhorse DMR. There aren't any attachments I can really recommend that you use on it because it's already good. It's a solid weapon that all you can do is optimize for certain areas. You can make a balanced build with some accuracy and range attachments like optics and barrels, and then some speed attachments like the sawed-off stock or the tack laser. You can totally do that. Speed it up with, sawed-off stock, tack laser, a small red dot sight, and the short barrel, and just run around and see how fast you can gun people down. You can do that too, I don't know. If you want to do a variable zoom scope, you want to run focus, and every range increasing attachment so you can pop people's heads as far away as possible, do that as well. What I'm trying to say is there's nothing I can really recommend to you that's gonna blow your mind. Like, did you know that the Merc foregrip will reduce recoil? Yeah, pretty cool, right? It's not really an interesting weapon to customize. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's sort of something I wish was different. I wish there was a conversion kit for this weapon. It would be really cool if you could convert this into like a battle rifle and have it be fully automatic. That would be really neat. It could like kick way more, but obviously you just need to hold down the trigger. That would be interesting. It'd be like a heavier hitting, higher recoil Odin, and that could be a very cool gun to use, but we'll never see that. It's just a semi-auto rifle for the sake of being a semi-auto rifle. The only suggestion I have for you is that you don't really worry about sleight of hand. It doesn't help too much. I would really try to focus on the focus perk. That was fun to say, I guess. And Exclusive Ace found that the shortest barrel that you can put on the weapon also decreases damage range, so avoid that if you're trying to get maximum range one-shot headshots and easy two-shot kills. Also, there's almost never a point in using the 10-round magazine. I really don't know why that's there. It sort of plays off like it's a conversion kit, but all you're doing is hurting yourself to speed up the weapon. Like, if you're gonna run a 10-round weapon like that, you might as well run the SOCOM round M4. Sort of a different beast, but I'm just wondering, like, the big problem with the SOCOM round M4 is that it only has 10 rounds. Why would I be okay with that with the SKS? I don't care how much damage it does. If I can have 20, 15, 30 rounds, I'm going to go for that. So really, run the 30-round magazine, kind of stay away from the short barrel unless you really want a ton of speed, and run the focus perk, and you'll be well on your way to winning a lot of gunfights that maybe you shouldn't even be winning. One problem I started having after using the SKS was the fact that I was just getting really lazy. I was just putting my sight on a target and spamming. If they started to like move or drop shot or jump, adjusting my aim, my brain wouldn't do it, because for the most part my gunfights today through grinding the SKS was just put the dot on somebody and just yank that trigger. And that's what the gun's really good at. Just put the sight on the person and spam the fucker. But here's my problem with Infinity Ward. This weapon is good, and I'm glad that it's an interesting, fun to use weapon, but it's not really interesting or that fun to use. What I mean by that is that it's a very good gun. I got it gold incredibly easy. Within 2 days, I got it gold. That's not good, because I usually take a while to get a weapon gold. The SKS, between hardcore and core playlists, I just got it gold so fast, and yeah, marksman rifles don't have the hardest challenges, but my god, it was easy. So yeah, it's good that it's good. It really has a place in the game. It has a place in the meta. When it comes to like RAM versus M4 or Grau versus Kilo, it's sort of like, I don't know, you could kind of go either way depending on your playstyle, whereas like, the EBR is now like pretty much irrelevant. In most cases, it's irrelevant now. Unless you want cross Tovorsk district headshots, use something else. And on Tovorsk district, and you want cross map headshots, you could, use an AX50 or a Dragunov. Technically, you could if you wanted. But this is my problem with Infinity Ward. Instead of adding something that builds on the weapons, it replaced one of them. Why? Like, do you not give a shit about your own weapon sandbox, your own weapon selection, Infinity Ward? I mean, you completely fucked over a whole gun to add a gun. If I was a self-respecting developer, I would not have added a weapon that simply replaces another one, and I'm sorry, that's exactly what it does. If you put 2 shots into the torso, or 1 shot into the head, at most ranges you're going to be engaging people at, then you just have an instant killing weapon. It's only bad at close quarters, and it's not optimal for hardcore. When that's the worst I can say about it, you wonder, okay, the EBR was already low tier, now it's just replaced by a, honestly, higher tier DMR? And with no interesting conversion kit or way to run the weapon, you just sort of sit there wondering, couldn't they have added something else or made this weapon interesting? Again, I'm saying I'm glad it's good. It's a solid, fun to use weapon, but at the end of the day, it's a semi-auto weapon that you really can't change the feel of. You can't really do anything with it except make it faster or slower. So again, I'm maybe sounding pessimistic, but I am sort of curious as to what they're doing with these DLC weapons. Now, the Renetti is going to be fun to review. That'll probably be coming out in the next couple of days, but I'm going to cut this video here, and I'm going to do a different video later on talking about my problem with the SKS removing the EBR from existence and the problem I have with the weapons in Modern Warfare as it is. That will likely be my next video. Overall, my review for the SKS is a solid A-tier weapon. This is a really good workhorse DMR. Honestly, throw on the focus perk, 30-round mags and a red dot, you're good. You're golden. You have a very good rifle. It's nice to say that anything you do to this rifle is simply a bonus. So have fun with it, enjoy it, and I will see you guys later. I'm kidding. I'll see you when I see you. That's my outro.